Hi, Stuart Sutton at Real Estate by Stuart. I'm going to show you on this video how to do just what Paul O'Neill did. Yes, the former Secretary of Treasury, not the baseball player. He was also the CEO of Alcoa at one time. And he's famous for doing something very unusual, not focusing on profits. He turned Alcoa from a losing corporation to an incredible profitable corporation by focusing and preparing the worker for safety. One of the most dangerous industries there is, of course. If you can kind of picture the molten liquid in the steel industry coming out of those huge bins. This was just a very dangerous industry to be in. Paul O'Neill took Alcoa from losing money to being one of the most profitable companies in America and the number one safety. Now, not safety for a dangerous industry, but safety overall. Because what he did was prepare in advance for events that were possible and likely. And when he prepared in advance for events that were possible and likely, he avoided those events and thus brought Alcoa to a new era of safety and profitability. Now, we're going to talk about exactly how to do that for your particular home sale. Let me show you what I mean. So having been in the real estate business as long as I have, and other agents can certainly do the same thing, I can anticipate and foresee potential problems. The problems that occur within a real estate transaction are nearly always predictable. And if you can prepare ahead of time in order to avoid those problems, you're much more likely to get to closing. And you can. It's a very straightforward, simple process. Let me take you through it real quick. Won't take but a few minutes. There are 5 steps. The first thing I'm going to cover, though, is to take away all 5 steps and just do 1 step. So that 1 step is to have a home inspection. A general inspection covers air conditioning and heating and appliances and water heater and electrical and all of that. That is one option. Have that ahead of time. Now, if you meet an agent who says, oh, don't do that because the buyer's going to have that, I would really think again about the mindset of that agent, because what they're doing is put you in a position to be surprised or have to react to a situation in the future that you could have taken care of now. If you'll have a home inspection now, right now, my business, we take care of and cover the expense of that home inspection for you. That's how important we think it is for you to have. If an agent isn't willing to do that, again, you might think twice about it. But having that inspection now lets you know if there's any issues that the buyer might be concerned about when they have their inspection. If there's any issues, you can take care of them now. Now, some agents will say, well, don't have that inspection because the buyer's going to have theirs and you have to disclose. Well, yeah, you have to disclose and you want to, but you don't have to say, hey, I used to have a leaky faucet and now I don't. But you do have to, of course, disclose things like if you had water penetration, if you had termites, if you had a fire, things like that. But you don't have to say, I used to have a broken window and now I don't. I think it's common sense to a great degree, but there are some very specific rules about disclosure, and you want to meet those. But if you take care of issues that concern buyers at their inspection so that those issues don't exist, you've just increased your chances to get to a successful closing. So what's the cost of going under contract, having your home on the market, having inspections done in your house, and then having your buyer back out compared to the cost of doing an inspection now, having it done, resolving issues that you probably would have had to resolve later on anyway once you found out about them? Be prepared. Measure twice, cut once. So that's one option. The other option is when a home inspector comes in, they're going to identify things based on their red flag list, if you will, and they're going to say, hey, you ought to have this checked out by an expert. Well, you can either have the home inspector come in and tell you what you need to have checked out by an expert, or you can skip the home inspection and bring the experts in. So here are those 5 experts that I mentioned earlier. 1, roof inspection. Most roofers will check your roof without any charge. I do have a roofer that I pay because I'm sending out on so many inspections. And really the reason they're going out is to check the roof is so they might get a roof job. So I'm paying for his time to go out and check them. But if you check the roof out now and you do have hail damage or problems and you can make a claim to your insurance company or you can make repairs or whatever the case is, that's an issue that the buyer isn't going to have to deal with you. And you hardly ever come out ahead when you deal with repairs with a buyer. So one of the most expensive things in your home is the roof. Take care of it in advance. Have it inspected, have the roofer write something up saying, hey, I checked this roof, everything looks good. Now, if there's a hailstorm between the time he checked it and the time you go on the market, have him check it again. Second thing, heating, air conditioning are also very expensive functions in the home. Have the heating and air conditioning checked. Again, a very inexpensive, probably not free like the roofer, but a very inexpensive inspection and service. And again, you have something in writing from a professional. Remember, a home inspector is not an expert. They are a generalist whose job is to red flag things that an expert needs to check out. Well, you're circumventing that and going straight to the expert. So the air conditioning tech is saying, hey, this is in good working order. And you have that. You got the roof now and you have the air conditioning. A foundation. If you're in an area that does see movement in foundations, and some areas just don't. In some areas, it's very common. But if you see any signs, have a foundation company come out and check. Now, I say foundation company. There's two ways you can do this. One, have the foundation company come out and check it. They give you a clean bill of health, you're good to go. But if they say, oh gosh, I think you might need some work done here, you then move to the next step and have an engineer check it. Why? Because an engineer is far more credible than a foundation company. I've had situations where a foundation company said you need some work, and then an engineer said, you don't need any work. This foundation's just fine. So now you have an engineer's report or a foundation company's report ahead of time. When your buyer comes along, experts check the roof, experts check the AC, experts have checked the foundation. You're looking good. Now, another quite expensive part of the home is your electrical system. And home inspectors tend to red flag things in the electrical system, sometimes, quite bluntly, that aren't needed, and sometimes they are. So, have an electrician come out, and again, I've got a very affordable electrician. By the way, we pay for these inspections for our clients, by the way. It's part of our investment in your success. But electrical inspections should not be expensive. If you think it's too expensive, just check, double check, maybe get a second opinion, whatever. But my electrician will come out for a very affordable amount and check your electrical system. The most common things with the electrical system would be lack of ground fault circuit interrupters or issues with the panel. Those are not hard to resolve. And if you haven't done beforehand, buyer comes along, you don't have any of those issues to deal with. Now, I said there were 5. I'm going to actually give you a bonus. So the 5th one is termite. When you have a termite inspector come out, simply have them check for active termites or conducive conditions. Active termites, you see them, they're there, they need to be treated. Conducive conditions, sometimes a termite company will want to treat for conducive conditions. You don't need to do that. You can simply remove the conducive conditions if that's viable. What does that mean? Well, you probably have seen patios built on the back of a home and there is a wood trim board in between the patio and the house. Well, that's a conducive condition because termites like wood. That can be removed and that crack can be sealed. Now, you don't have to have a treatment for termites because the conducive conditions don't exist. Wood piled up against the house, conducive condition for termites. You don't need to treat, just move the wood. Now, I'm going to forewarn you something. Do not let termite companies sell you anything unless you talk to an advisor, I guess is the best way to put it. Quite sincerely, somebody like me. I can tell you so many stories over the years. Recently, I had bids for termite work to be done that ranged from $2,300 all the way down to $200. And the result was the same. Clean report provided to the buyer. So the termite is the 5th one. The 6th one, let's face it, water heaters have gotten pretty expensive. They're no longer $400 or $500. So you might have the water heater checked. just to be safe, especially if it's 10 plus years old. So, roof has been checked by an expert, electrical by an expert, air conditioning and heating by an expert, termite, foundation. Your buyer comes along, those are provided to them. Guess what? They're in a much more comfortable situation with you than they are with a house where none of that has been started. That's why we call it the 5-star pre-inspected home. In any seller who's that well prepared, psychologically the buyer feels like you must be prepared and maintenance conscious about everything else as well. It puts you in a fantastic position to get to a successful closing and truly eliminate the number one reason buyers terminate contracts, or having to renegotiate your contract with your buyer. Now, I do have another video up about that. You can go watch that if you want to take a look. And it provides some more details and information for you. That video is right here. Like this video if you like the information you saw. Please feel free to comment, ask more questions, and subscribe if you'd like to see more information like this. Thanks again for watching. Remember, it's your choice, so make it a powerful day.